So, you know, much like you, I I really appreciated my enlisted time because
Yeah.
I definitely I ran into a lot of people that I learned a lot from, and I learned the ropes of the game and how to move and stuff like that. How to talk sometimes. How to
Yeah.
express different emotions to get different things across.
Yeah.
But what made you want to commission? Especially coming from being a chief and a carrier, where you're almost walking on water. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was in the Ike,
Yeah.
I saw the Chiefs. I saw how they moved around. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. It's vastly different.
if I needed anything done, it didn't matter what it was, and I told my chief, I knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah, it's different, man. It's I'm still I'm still learning that too, man. Cause I
Yeah,
just made that a year ago too. I'm still learning how to. You know, I wouldn't say take advantage because I feel like you already had to be one to become one.
oh yeah, for sure.
So I feel like I already kind of had that the gist of it. But being one, man, it just opened up so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My lens of visioning just got so much bigger because I'm just like, boy, it's different over there, man. Like it don't even matter where you at. You know what I'm saying? Them ankles, man, they so heavy, man.
Yeah, but what influenced your decision to want to commission? Now I get it. You started a process before you made chief,
Yeah,
but
I always knew that I was gonna do at least 20 years in the Navy. Like I knew that. Like most people, like, oh yeah, you joke. No, I love the Navy.
I
Like
I hear
I love the Navy. Like
I
the
hear
Navy.
people say I hear people say that,
I
right?
love the Navy. I'm
And
looking
look,
at camera. I love the Navy. The Navy changed my life.
and at the
So
end of
I
the
love the
day,
Navy.
like I told one of the guys on my ship, he third class, he said the same thing. He was like, you just look like you're gonna do 20 years.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know what you look like, but what I know is you're still here. You're still here, and I'm
Yeah.
just not the type of person that's gonna be here and not give it 100%.
That just it just
You know,
it just some it just everything that I do, man, I must own it.
yeah,
I'm a brand, man. Like I treat myself like I'm a brand. I'm a walking brand. So whatever it is that I do, I know I got to go 1,000%. So being in the Navy, I knew I was gonna give 1,000%, but I didn't think I was going to go past that first contract. That's for sure. Undes, no real job in the Navy. Shipping paint, driving the ship, dirty coveralls, dirty boots, standing watch while everybody else sleep, and then get out watch and go back to work. Nah, I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna be great at it. I'm gonna get every qualification, do every task, and that's asked of me. I'm gonna give my best. But I think this,
that just wasn't for you.
yeah. I think I'm gonna just do this one contract and be done. So in the beginning, I did not see 20 in my in my future.
And don't get me wrong, like shout outs to both mates.
Yeah, man.
Shout outs to
to
deck
'em.
departments, man. Some of the best friends that I had.
Yeah, my
you know,
yeah.
or
True
our
story.
Bosa mates, were are still our Bosa mates. So shout outs to them. It's just everybody's different,
Yeah,
and
man.
and you should always want to be in a space where you could represent yourself the best.
Yep.
And if you felt like Bosa mate was not it, then that's okay.
Man, I got told so many times because they used to call me Boats. They're like, "Hey, Boats, hey, if you choose, because I had to choose a job.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, man, if you choose Postmate, man, I'll make you leave here as a second class. You'll be an E5. You'll come from there to E5 for you leave. I said, look, I appreciate everything you done for me. You know what I'm saying? I got my surface pin as an undead seaman. I was like, hey, man, I appreciate everything you done for me. I mean,
Like I've done enough.
I left here with 2 NAMs. I'm like, hey, man, I appreciate everything you told me. But I can't do it for 20 years.
Yeah.
I can't do it for 20 years. So, but once again, that laid the foundation for me. By me being able to be successful at what was asked of me, and I got just a small reward, and I seen how far that could take me. I'm like, oh yeah, this it. Yeah, I'm saying I done got a little taste, and they kept feeding it. Yeah, let me go ahead and choose a job real and see what this gonna be talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On the next run, see what I can do in the next run. And then when I read up, went on the next run, guess what? The next run say, okay, you can apply to go be at the Blues. You know, this is the epitome of teamwork, cultural excellence, standard, high. Oh yes,
Put
let me
me
get
in.
that. Hey,
Put me in,
the
coach.
game. Put me in the game. Put me in the game. You know what I'm saying? So that just kept my appetite
Yeah.
to want more and to keep going. And then when I got to the highest of the high level, when I got there, and then I seen somebody that was a AO that got selected to go even higher, not as a team, but as an individual in the same job that I had. Oh, yes. Because guess what? You got to keep becoming. Shout out to Michelle Obama. If you haven't read her book, you should read it.
Becoming, yeah.
Guess what? You got to always become, no matter what you do and whatever level you get in life, there's more. Not necessarily material things, you know, but there's more you can become as a person, whatever the case may be. You can become more. I have came to the number one team, the face of the Navy and the Marine Corps. And then I have met an individual that I'm working with that's going to come higher as an individual in his job. Oh, I want that.
Which happens to be something that you're aspiring to be.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
A better version of myself, and the highest I could take it, because at this point my appetite done changed. Now I want to do 20. So if I'm gonna do 20, I don't want to just do 20 as worker. I want to be a policy maker. I want to be the one that can make the calls, because if I can make the calls, you know what I'm saying, and I can inspire the ones that came from where I came from and that see me and be like, oh, this is possible. Because if you don't think nothing is possible, this might be a recruiting clip for y'all recruiters out there.
Yeah. Clip it up.
If you
Send it in.
if you don't think anything else is possible in the Navy, just watch this podcast and listen to where I came from and where I'm at and where I'm grateful to be going. Because this literally is the quote, the sky is the limit. That's it. It is the limit in the Navy, right? No matter what type of career somebody else had, what type of leadership, bad supervisors, the bad cards that was dealt. Yeah. I was dealt the baddest card out the gate. And I still won the game. So don't let anybody deter you or your little situation deter you from what you want out the Navy. Remember why you started it in the first place, right? And people gonna rotate, including yourself, right? So don't let people deter the reason why you raise your hand and solemnly swear to do this. Because you can become whatever it is that you want to, because I am living proof that you can become whatever it is that you want to in the Navy. Never forget that. So you might have a bad chain of command at one spot. That's going to be for a short period of time, because they're going to transfer before you, or you going to transfer before them, and give your new spot a chance. Have amnesia to the bad, because there's so much good when you open your eyes and you allow people to pour into you, and you pour into where you at. And that is why I am here.
Let's talk about what's next.
What's next?
You know, you about to commission here shortly, and then what's next? You know, I know you're working on some stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you're working on some new stuff that, you know, I can't wait to share it. You know, but let's talk a little bit about it, just a little bit about it. You know what I'm saying? There's something coming.
Something is coming. There's something that's very much so coming.
There's something coming that I cannot wait for everybody to see. You know what I'm saying?
Coming.
What we got?
It's coming, man.
What we got?
All of us say, if you paid attention this far in the podcast and you put those words and those quotes in your toolbox that I told you, you know what's coming.
That you know what's coming. Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm pretty ecstatic about this next chapter. What I'm doing on the business entrepreneur side, because that's another. I think that's another bonus. You know what I'm saying? Something that I got in my pocket that a lot of people in the Navy don't have.
Yeah.
They don't have. They don't have a balance. Right? They don't have a balance. You meet a lot of leaders that's 100% Navy. That's all they know. They gripped on that, and they're nothing personal, right?
Yeah.
They're nothing personal. Like they don't have nothing going for them personally, and they use the Navy as their personality rather than using their personality to get them where they're trying to go in the Navy.
Yeah.
And then because at the end of the day, you got to go home. You could do 30, 40, you know.
You're gonna hang it up at one point.
But who are you?
Yeah.
What do you have going? So I never lost that balance from the day I set foot in to now. That balance of chasing degrees, being an entrepreneur, um, being knee deep in health and fitness, getting certifications in that, being an actual personal trainer, being a coach, doing bodybuilding, having my own brand. When it comes to merchandise and clothes and
Yeah.
all kind of stuff, man. I've always had a balance. Just as hard as I worked to get myself where I'm at for the Navy, I've done that for myself because that's who I am. That's my personality. I'm an executor. I'm an executor for greatness overall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you need that type of balance because you will crash out, man, if you feel like this Navy ain't going the way that you think it could, or you know what I'm saying, it never become to fruition how you think
Yeah.
it should be because this all you know, and then you on the downward spiral. Because when you have that balance, if this don't go right, I know this still gonna be right because I'm still putting in X amount of time just like I am doing this. So
Yep.
something is gonna work,
Yep.
you know.
Man, speaking of that, man, you know, in 2020, it's when I started my podcast.
Yeah.
You know, started the podcast 2020 on the brink of COVID.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, man, you had some great episodes and you had some great people on there, man.
Man, shout outs to Nick, DJ,
Peanut.
you know, Vince came on, Slim came on, you know, shout outs to them. You know, and we had you on there because you were in Guam already.
I was in Guam, yeah.
Well, we had you on there, you know, on the audio side. But I did that, and then fast forward, you know, I left Florida,
Yeah.
came to California to a ship, and I got into trucking,
Yeah.
right? And then while I was doing that, I got into, you know, do merchandise and stuff like that. You know, while on sea duty, getting ready for deployment.
Mind you, none of this stuff is like normal, by the way. Like this stuff that we just casually talking about doing on the personal side is not normal. It's not normal, man.
Yeah.
So I don't want that to be underestimated of what we talking about here because 98% of the military population is not doing this. So
Yeah, but we,
man.
you know, that was going on. You know, got heavy into DJing, and you know, you know, when we were in Florida, I was doing it, but it wasn't as heavy, you know. But got heavy into DJing, got heavy into my Afro beats, you know, event coordination, planning, whatever. And now we're rebranding.
Huh? So
We're taking all of that, everything that we have done, you know, from the podcast that we did, you know, the Kim Vibes podcast, to the trucking, to the merchandising, you know, to the event coordination, to the DJing, and we rebranding.
So with this rebrand, what are you rebranding? What do you?
So we're coming up with a new name, which really tells about who we are. You know, by we, I mean, you know, it's my vision, but you know who we are. You know, the new rebrand name is gonna be True Bearing.
True Bearing.
True Bearing.
So what's gonna be the goal behind that?
So I've always believed that, as a person, as a human being, you got to know what you stand for.
Yeah.
You know, and people say you got to find your North Star. You got to do this. You got to do that. But your true bearing is what tells what kind of person you are.
Right.
And the amount of adversity that we went through, with all these things that we did, still maintaining a job in the Navy while excelling and still doing all these things.
You gotta have a burn to be able
You
to stay
gotta have a
true
burn,
to you.
But
That's a fact.
also the King Vibes podcast, and the King Vibes LLC as a whole was more personal. That's my brand,
Yeah.
But this time around, we're expounding. It's not just about my brand,
Yeah.
because I could see how, I tell somebody, hey, I want you to come on my podcast. Oh, what's the name of your podcast? Oh, the King Vibes podcast, and it sounds more like a you thing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, so to now where it's the true bearing, and why we're doing that because
Right.
we helping people find their bearing.
Yep. Or you can have people that come here and talk about how they had their true burn.
Yeah,
Might
so
inspire somebody else rather than them on the Kings vibe. I
Yep.
gotta get a Kings vibe.
Yep. So the umbrella is still gonna be King's Vibes, but the podcast is gonna be True Bearing.
Yeah, man. I
And
look forward to it. You already know I'm gonna be on there.
oh man, I already got a few things lined up and it's coming up. And I think part of that is because of, as very soon I'm moving.
Yeah.
And I'm going outside the country for a little bit. And so I think it's very necessary that I kind of restart,
As you move
from a different page, get other people introduced to that,
Yeah.
while we still influence people, still have that effect on people and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing. You probably seen it, somewhere on social media. It's coming up. We have a few things coming up, and it's gonna be really good.
I look forward to it, man. I already know it's gonna be good.
I can't wait. I can't wait to share what we got. But let's talk about things that you learned in your past chapter.
Yeah.
That you're gonna take and put in your toolbox into this new chapter, because it's very important. Like commissioning does not mean that you're starting a new life.
Yeah.
All you're doing is just graduating from one class to another.
Yeah. True story.
So what are you bringing from your enlisted career to the officer career?
Well, I think the main three things is the first one is what laid the curriculum. Like you said, I'm going to another class, graduating, right?
Yep.
So the first thing first is the work ethic piece, you know. And the second one is, like I said before, in the ordnance community, it's ordnance first, right? I had to learn that too, because like I said, I came on late in the game in the real ordnance operational environment, right? So that's just the big one. And I would say that is the biggest because, that's where all my growing pains was. That's when my eyes opened. That's when I had to learn that I still could run my own race. I just had to change the pace a little bit. I never had to change the direction on where I wanted to go. And that's another thing that I'm grateful for. I ran my own race.
Yep. 100%.
Nobody never gave me nothing. No good old boy club, no handouts. You know what I'm saying? No yes man. Like I grinded for this.
Yeah.
From nothing. Right? But I did have to grind at a different pace at times. Right? Just like you said, when you came and switched over, you had to learn that you knew it, but you couldn't say it. I had to learn how to not say it even when I wanted to.
Yeah.
Whether it was if I was right about a situation or if I wanted to get some get back on the emotional side.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of chess that had to be played with these growing pains that I had. And that's one of the biggest things. And, I've been able to been put in bad situations that where I felt like if I wouldn't have to been put in those situations, I wouldn't know how to navigate overall as a whole. And that's gonna be something that I know for a fact that I'm gonna need on this side. Because at the end of the day, I'm no longer the the enforcer, the worker, the one that's like,
Yeah.
my job will be 100% trust in others to do what I'm gonna be held accountable for,
Yeah.
right? So I'm having to realize that, you know what I'm saying, and ordinance first. You know what I'm saying? That's just my mentality now, and that's just what my mentality will be because in order to be successful for me as an LDO might not be the same for any other person, but for me it is because
Yeah.
ordinance is first, right? The man that I got to answer to know nothing about ordinance yet.
Yep.
Yet that is his number one tool in his toolbox at any operational command you go to.
Yep.
One thing, if you've been in the Navy long enough, you're gonna hear two words: warfighter excellent. You can't be a warfighter without ordnance.
I
You
agree.
can't. You can't be a warfighter without ordnance. And ordnance is my job. So if I don't know no ordnance, I don't know my job. So that is gonna be my biggest thing, right? Staying coachable, staying a student of this ordinance,
Yeah.
right? And that's gonna be my biggest piece because, like I said in the beginning, you know, it's just go go go. Let me get the next check in the block. Let me get the next qualification. Let me get the next uh, whatever it is that I can level up, move up. As an ordinance man, that don't really mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody really care about that because if you can't configure a bomb, you can't load a bomb, download a bomb, you can't load a gun on the aircraft.
Nobody cares.
Nobody care. If
Yeah.
you can't do the right paperwork for this, like nobody care. Yeah, you could
I
be
mean,
yeah. So
and the I'm sure you know this, but as an officer, the stakes are high.
very.
The stakes are high, but don't underestimate, the preparations that you have done all the way up to here, because that's what got you here.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
true
saying?
story.
Like it may be new,
Yeah,
it's not really. You know, the underalignment of what you're about to do is really the things that you used to do before you got picked up.
yeah,
Might be a little polish, sure, here and there, but don't ever underestimate, those things that you did to get you here.
yeah,
I'm sure, knowing you as AK, like you're not going to.
yeah,
But for anybody else that's listening to this, you know, if you're putting that work every day and you're at this level now, don't underestimate that work that you've done already. Just like bodybuilding, and I have this conversation with Gabe all the time,
yeah,
like the day that, the day-to-day workouts that you put it in is what one day when you look in the mirror and you start seeing gains,
yeah.
it's those things that add up, so don't underestimate that preparation that you had coming in. But it's gonna be a good chapter, man. I'm pretty excited. I can't wait for this commissioning.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna be a brown shoe type of day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm bringing my brown shoes out. It's a brown shoe type of day, you know what I'm saying?
Sir. Yes, sir.
I would have checked out of my ship already, so
Yeah.
I won't be on a surface vessel. I'm gonna rock my brown
Yeah,
shoes.
man. It's Brown Shoe Nation over here.
Yeah, but we're about to close it up. We're about to close it up. In closing, Chief AK and Officer AK,
Yeah.
how different are they?
I wouldn't say they different.
They're not.
Nah.
Okay.
The reason why I say they not different because of the fact of who I am. Like I said, that personality. My responsibilities and obligations, you know, that's owed to myself, that's
Yeah.
owed to the Navy, right? Those might change, right? Like I said before, like the accountability piece is most definitely changing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The accountability piece is definitely changing. Like I can divvy out responsibility, but I can't divvy out accountability.
Nope.
So
It's yours.
the difference between Chief AK and Gunner AK is that, you know what I'm saying, is that's me. You know what I'm saying? That's a mentality change,
Yep.
on that piece, right? That's it. Everything else, like I said, man, like in no disrespect to nobody else, but like as an aviation honest man, you got to know your job. And if you know your job and you good at your job, you're gonna always know the next step. You know what I'm saying? As a third, you gotta know next up for a second to first. And the first gotta be already knowing and acting as a chief. Bam, made chief. You know, and as a chief, that's not it. Yes, you chiefing. It might be it for you and that's what you want. All fine and dandy. But if you want more, you gotta know the Divo. And the Divo is the LDO, that is the gunner, right? So that knowledge piece, that technical expertise piece, you always gonna have room for learning more. Cause I have a lot that I need to learn.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you gotta know it. And you just gotta know it. So there won't be no changing in that. But that changing in accountability, that word is bun. You gotta know what you're talking about, no shooting from the hip. People gonna respect what you say more. And when people respect what you say more, you gotta know how to move more professionally.
Yep.
Right? You gotta be more tactful, be more methodical. I wouldn't necessarily say play politics. You just gotta be more methodical.
Yeah.
You know, you just gotta be more methodical in what you say, what you do, and the situations that you placed in. And that's just me personally, because I don't believe in politics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't. Because like I said, my personality, my work ethic, my grind, me executing got me here. Right? I always been told you gotta be, when you join this, you do that, you gotta be a politic. I don't really agree with that, you know. I agree with knowing what you're supposed to know, doing what you're supposed to do, being humble, and being methodical. But being methodical has nothing to do with politics. Because you could say the right thing in this room and say the wrong thing in the next room just to make the room happy. I ain't saying the wrong thing. I ain't agreeing with what's wrong. And I ain't doing what's wrong. I'm going to always stand on me, and I'm always stand on business because that's what I'm about. And that's going to be something else that I have to accept, right? If I stand on something that I believe in and that's not right because something is bound to happen, I gotta be able to live with that. Yeah. Because that is where I'm gonna be placed at. That is my new role. That's where I'm gonna be at. That's the new level that I'm in. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be able to stand on that. So I don't really believe in the whole political thing. I do believe in being more methodical and moving more professional, yes.
Yeah, for sure. You know, for sure. I think professionalism is definitely, you know, the key to getting anywhere. You know, you can sit with anybody, have a conversation with anybody, so far as you're professional. You know, and I tell my guys all the time, right? You can say whatever you want to say, so far as you're professional about it.
Yep. It ain't what you say, it's how you say
it. You know, I tell my CEO all the time, like, yeah, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
But I gotta find a good way to say it, you know, a more professional way to do that. But yeah, man, happy to have you here, man. AK, can't wait for you to commission. You know, it's gonna be a great day, man.
Yeah, man, we're gonna
just moving on, but you know, and I can't wait for you to drop that next project, man. I cannot wait. Man. You know, just know I told y'all first. About to drop some.
Hey, you
know,
heard it from the last episode of the King Vibe.
This is the last one. This is the last. You know, appreciate y'all hanging out with us. You know, my name is Kwame. I'm your host. I've had AK with me. You know, but eat. Always gotta eat.
Know it.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you around.